Hello and welcome to another video. It's good to see you all. It's January in Finland and there's actually snow, even in the southernmost parts of Finland. It's cold. I'm waiting for summer. Anyway, today we're going to talk about the number one practice routine that I've ever done for me, and we're going to talk about how you do it and why. So, without further ado, let's have some ado. Okay, so welcome back. Now, what is my number one practice routine? Well, it's improvising. Now, a bit of a disclaimer, it doesn't work straight off the bat, so if you're a beginner, this won't work. At least I don't think so. But when you get to a certain point in your development, I think you should start improvising and you should add it to your daily practice thing, whatever it is you do. So you practice one thing, you practice another, and then you improvise. Now, why is that? Well, because basically what you're doing when you're improvising is you're applying all of your skill sets to actually making music. So let's say you're familiar with alternate picking, you have a few alternate picking licks, you know tapping, you know bends, and you know all that. This is a way for you to practice applying those things in a musical setting. Now, it's not just the application that you're practicing, you're also actually practicing those techniques. So you get the benefits of that. And you get the benefits of practicing your ears because you have to listen what's going on in the background. Or if you're just improvising with nothing, you have to at least use your inner ear to imagine what could be going on in the background. You apply the scales, you know, you apply the modes, you know, and you practice those modes. You practice your tuning, your kind of relative pitch thing, and all of that stuff. Basically, you practice all of your skills. Really, all of your skills. Yeah, did I say you practice all of your skills? So, anyway, how do you do it? How do you practice improvising? Well, basically, you just improvise. Now, think about it. You practice alternate picking by alternate picking. You practice tapping by tapping. You practice sight reading by reading music notation. Improvisation is no different. You need to have kind of certain skills before you start improvising, or at least they help. The more skills you have before you start improvising, the better. But you just go out and improvise. So you can do anything. You can take a backing track, it can be a blues thing. So you can do that. You can do it over backing tracks, but you can also do it over a CD, or as I did back in my day, cassettes. Remember those? You can do it over cassettes, you can do it over something from Spotify. It can be something that you know, and it can be something that you don't know. And you can do it kind of in stages, so that you take a song, let's say you take an Yngwie Malmsteen song, and you learn the kind of written parts. So let's say you do this. You learn that bit and you learn all the arpeggios. And then when Yngwie Malmsteen, gets to the improvised solo bit, then you improvise as well. So he goes up to C sharp minor. So you start doing something similar to him. So improvise over his track. Now, I think it's worked wonders. Now, one thing you get out of this is that you practice being like somebody else. Now, a bit of a word of caution here. Do it with different artists, preferably different types of artists as well, because you don't want to end up sounding just like a clone of Yngwie Malmsteen. you do it with many artists, and you can also, if you're playing let's say you're doing that Yngwie Malmsteen song, and it comes time to improvise, where he would start doing that whole thing that I just did, and instead of you doing that, you start doing something like. So you throw in maybe some stuff that Yngwie would do, and you do some stuff that he would never do. So that can kind of also help you break out of certain patterns. So if you're very used to doing Yngwie Malmsteen type stuff, and when you're doing neoclassical music, if you're in a kind of, you notice that you keep doing Yngwie-ish stuff and you sound too much like him, you can make a kind of conscious effort to break free of that stuff by playing Yngwie Malmsteen stuff, but doing it consciously very differently. And then when it comes time to actually do something, voila, you might notice that, hey, I could do this and that and whatever. Now, you can also, like I said, you can play over something that you don't know. So you just take something, you put on the radio, and let's say you get this. So you do something, whatever, over that track, and it's that's great for your ears, and it's even better if it's not just a repetition like 4 chords going on and on, but it's something a bit more complex. So you have to actually listen to what's happening in the background. That's great practice. It's absolutely brilliant practice, in my opinion. You can also do it without a backing track. So you just sit around at home going like this. So you do something like that. Now, one of the other added benefits is that if you're feeling kind of bored by exercises, you're doing tons of exercises and you're practicing licks, you're sitting around doing this. And maybe then improvising can help kind of break the boredom and make you want to play more, and also make you want to do the exercises in between. So you improvise for a while, and then you do exercises, and you improvise some more. So in that way, it can be really, really helpful. So basically, that's how you do it. That's some of the benefits. For me, I think it's been more beneficial than any of the exercises I've done, at least after a certain point. Because I've done tons of exercise. I've done technique, I've done bends, I've tried to do sight reading, didn't work out too well, that one. I've done tapping, I've done picking. I've tried to improve my ears, which has been a good one as well. I warmly recommend that. I've improved my rhythm by using a metronome and just doing straight 8 notes or whatever, and all that stuff. But for me, improvising has been kind of a musical workout, because I get the technique bit, but I also get the music into the whole thing, because exercises aren't very musical. So what you're doing when you're improvising is helping your own musicality and kind of finding your own voice. And that doesn't mean when you practice improvising that you need to improvise all the time after that. You can still plan your solos, you can still write solos and do whatever. I think the best guitar players, they can do both. Actually, well, some people, they are so good at improvising that they never write anything. Some people are so good at writing stuff that they don't really improvise. But I think it's really beneficial to practice improvising. Another thing you could, of course, do is practice writing solos, which would be a totally different thing. But for me, improvising as a practice routine has been number one, top for me. Might not be for you, but I urge you to give it a go, because you won't know until you've tried. And when I say try, don't just give it half an hour. I mean, give it a good month or so, and do it kind of on a regular basis, and then see. Because you might discover that it's fun. It might start out not being fun because it's difficult and foreign and whatever. But after a month you might discover, hey, this is really cool. I like this and I'm getting something out of this. And well, that's really what this is all about. If you're having fun, you're improving. If you're spending time playing, you're improving. And this is one way you can try to improve. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and please, if you did, click like, hit share, comment. Feel free to support me on Patreon if you really, really like this. And I hope to see you in another one. I'm losing my speech again. Anyway, see you in another one, and take care. Bye.